Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the end of the night shift week. Welcome to the first real talk of October. How you doing? Happy hump day to ya. Happy hump day to ya. It's a night shift right here. I want to welcome each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio, affiliate stations across the globe. Glad to have you. Those on PEMGTV.com, and of course right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, home of the night shift. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word. I wouldn't even try. Bless. Much blessings to you and yours. Kicking it off with a little touche. It's called Best Life.
And I hear in my favorite song. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life. That's how it is just life. I live in my best. Cause when I go down, you must come back up. Now nothing go now. Say what them stop. I said to move it, girl. When they behind the truck, yeah, we not giving up. Yeah, we going right from the clock. I have no apology for the way you are getting on. Once I have the energy, nothing could ever hold me down. I don't like no kind of bad vibes around me. So clear the way. Look and stand the wind coming down. And I hear in my favorite song. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life. That's how it is just life. I live in my best. I'm going to enjoy myself. Cause I ain't come here to please nobody. Yeah, I'm here to enjoy myself. One life off, so I'm going to live it up. Yeah. I have no apology for the way you are getting on. Once I have the energy, nothing could ever hold me down. I don't like no kind of bad vibes around me. So clear the way. Look and stand the wind coming down. And I hear in my favorite song. That's how it is just life.
Dash away the stress life.
How it is just life.
I live in my best life.
Celebrating life, living dancehall life. I know debating.
You don't want to miss a second.
We go all our vibe.
There are a few more seconds you can catch up on, you know.
And I hear in my we go all our vibe.
Yeah, we're going to hold a vibe.
Wind coming down. And I hear in my favorite song. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life. That's how it is just life. I live in my best. Like a wind coming down. Like a wind coming. Like a wind coming down.
I should stop.
I hear in my favorite song. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life.
I want to say thanks to Paul C Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show.
We go all our vibe. Look and stand the wind coming down. And I hear in my favorite song.
Paul C Media, when being in the moment is priceless.
Life. I live in
You want to get together with them
I live in my best.
because they can bring your moment to life.
And I
Yes, they can.
in my favorite.
Give them a call, 754-999-6020.
I live in my best life. That's how it is just life. I live in my best.
You can also visit them on PEMGTV.com.
And I hear in my favorite song. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life. That's how it is just
Wanna say big ups to Marlon in the stew pot. Host of Real Rockers. Happens every Monday and Wednesday, right before the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Go ahead and just follow him. Just go to Real Rockers. Find it on social media. Just like it. Okay? You'll know where Marlon is doing, what he is doing, when he's doing it. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. When you talk about a music edutainer extraordinaire, I won't just limit it to reggae music. But I will say, I have learned some things when it comes to reggae music that, whew, let me tell you, if it wasn't for this guy, Marlon, much respect. Keep doing what you're doing. I will continue to do what I've been doing as it relates to you. I will continue to tell people about you because you're doing that thing that only you can do. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's the end of another night shift week, and it's the first week in October. Look at that. Just like that. 1 week, one night shift week down in October already. Just like that. Snap. Boom. Happened. All right, so tonight it's a different kind of real talk. And let me just start with what is in front of us right now. I'll start with the support. I want to say thanks to to everybody giving the support. In whichever way you give the support, much respect. Because the support is needed. That's how we do what we do, and we keep doing it. Right? Yeah, Marlon, and I'll continue spreading the word. You see, let's delve into the pot. Let's go ahead and dip our spoons, because that's what tonight's show is all about. Tonight's show it's all about, and at the risk of sounding, no risk involved in sounding selfish. I have no problem being selfish, because if I don't look after me, I can't meet your needs. Plain and simple. I started doing this show, the night shift, a good 10 years ago, believe it or not. And those of you who saw clips of Melissa Jane's event this past weekend, MJ Media and PS Youth got together and did a workshop, first in a series of workshops. And some gifts were given away by CJ Love. CJ is a realtor and does a whole lot in the community, but she's also an author. About 8 years ago, yeah, it definitely is okay to be selfish. About 8 years ago, I had CJ as a guest on my show, on the night shift. It was a community and finance night. And back then, I was doing the show out of Flex FM. And I want to pause for a moment and big up TC Flex. From time to time, those of you who see me share, who are connected with me on social media, will see me share TC's live when TC does his midday show. If I catch it, a lot of times I will share it, because I will continue to give that support. Yeah. And I'm gonna come back to that. TC started Flex FM with some support that he had at the time, and I had met TC, I would say probably 2 years before that, or a year before that, a year or two. I used to listen to his midday mix show on the big station at the time. and I was just captivated by the way he would mix. And I started making remixes. And I called up TC one day as he was closing out his show. And I asked him if he would listen to some of my remixes. If it wasn't the next day, it was 2 days later. He met with me with his laptop. I had a flash drive with some of my remixes. And he copied them and said he was going to go take a listen. The day after that, so that day he took the remixes. He left. The next day, I'm listening to the midday mashup. And what do I hear? One of my remixes. The very first time I heard my name on radio, announced by a personality, a broadcast personality, TC Flex. And we have been brothers in the industry ever since. I have no reason to not be supportive of what he does. He's not doing anything to hurt anybody. And what he does is what he does. Who follows him is who follow him. And who follow me is who follow me. I have no reason to be fighting him down about his thing at all. I have no problems supporting whomever. But understand, support is not a one-way street. Yeah? Alright. So, that because of that interaction, and I'll show you this. I had shared this on social media one time before. This was Battle of the DJs, 2008. A competition sponsored by Father Rose. This was a DJ competition. Let me hold it up so you can see it. Put it a little closer, put it a little further. Okay, there we go. Yeah, kind of lean straight. There we go. This was a competition that TC did on the radio, on the air. I thank you. It was posted. Those of you listening want to interact. 773-789-STEW. 773-789-7839. Call, text, or please go to kevinstew.com. Jump into the stew pot. Let's have some interaction. Thank you very much. One person in the pot says, "You have come such a long way from those days. I'm so proud of your accomplishments. You never forgot where you came from. One of the things I admire most about you is that you always give credit to those who helped you along this awesome journey that you're on." Yeah, I believe in that. I really do. Yeah, big up to TC Flex. So, and you vividly remember the interview with CJ. I'm coming back to that. Don't think that I forgot. I am coming back to it. So, I was a part of that competition. I remember TC doing the competition and saying, "Stu, come." And I was like, "But I'm not that kind of a DJ." And he said, "It doesn't matter. Come." And I remember him inviting me to do a midday mashup mix. He invited me to do that segment of the show. I was nervous, trembling, sweating. I met DJ Breeze, Lady Breeze, in the big station studio when I did that mashup. And she was like, "It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Just do your thing." And I remember what was one of the most humbling words ever said to me, yet still one of the best praises I had ever received in this industry. When TC said, his mixes are so clean and smooth. And he said that on the air. Back then, I was very fresh as a DJ, very green, very young in the industry. And even today, I wouldn't consider myself a DJ. DJ. I just love music. I'm not the one that is out there every weekend playing events and whatever. But don't think that I cannot. I can. And on occasions, I do. In fact, this coming weekend, I have an anniversary party to play. So, you have officially claimed the title of DJ Kevin Stew Fan Club President. Okay, fine. I will not even try to take that from you. It is your title to hold. Claim it. In fact, go ahead and change your name to Fan Club President. So, fast forward, TC started Flex FM and said, Stu, I have a slot for you. What slot? Well, tell me a slot you want. And I was like, yo, and somehow, some way, I ended up doing 10 to midnight. Or 8 to midnight. I think I did a 4-hour show first. Some 8 or 10 to midnight. Either way, I was always ending the show at midnight from back then. And I came across CJ by way of TC. And I brought her on as a guest, and she spoke about her book. At the time, it was titled A Promise to Kill. And if you look at the picture that was taken where on this past Saturday at the MJ Media PS Youth event, workshop event, where I'm standing there holding a book. If you look closely, the book I'm holding says A Promise to Kill. The other books say Behind the Mask, which is a name that the title of the book was changed to when CJ was invited to the White House. Yes, you heard me. Back then, the Obamas were in the White House. And CJ was invited to the White House. And the title of her book was changed as a result of that invitation. So it was changed from A Promise to Kill. And I had to take a picture. This was my first picture with this book. And I had to take a picture. Yeah, and I was fortunate enough for CJ to have had a copy of that book with her. So, big ups to CJ. And CJ and I have remained connected ever since. There's a reason behind these stories that you're going to be hearing tonight. All right? Yes, Oprah, she was invited by Oprah also. And CJ will tell you. I don't have to add fluff. I don't have to embellish. I don't have to do anything. CJ will tell you that the show, the conversation that we had that night, she has never done one anywhere remotely close to that. So, just to give an understanding. And if you're new to the night shift and how I have interactions with my guests, then go ahead and check the archives. Look at anything in the archive. And it will give you an idea. When you play those events, you are the bomb. You're so talented, and that's one of the reasons I still follow you. No, that doesn't make you a stalker. But if you are a stalker, you would be my very first stalker. Because I have none. So, continuing on, I mentioned that to say this. I was given that opportunity by TC to step out of what was a comfortable place for me, to change, to grow. I just saw a meme tonight. Somebody posted a meme that said something along the lines of, um, it's nice to be in a comfort zone, but where there's no growth, then something. Oh, geez, no, I forgot it. But something along the lines of that there's no growth in the comfort zone. And I was like, you know what? That is so true and so powerful, because at the time when you're comfortable, you're not driven to do anything. And most of our changes happen in a time when we're uncomfortable. It just so happens that some of those changes tend to be growth changes. Those are the changes, those are the positive changes that we look back and said, you know, if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't have done that and I wouldn't be where I am today. So that thing that was such a painful experience is a good pain. It's a growing pain. So you don't necessarily want to shy away from those things. Now, I mentioned TC and the radio gig. During that same time when that radio gig was happening, there was something else happening. What at the time was DML TV, short for the Music Links TV. And if any of you go to Pulse E-Media Group right now, you go to PEMGTV.com. No, you go to PulseEmediagroup.com. You will see the DML TV as one of the tabs. Pulse E-Media Group is coming from back then. And when that was in the development stages, there was a show called Old School, New School Joint that happened on a Friday night. Devon was the host of the show. I produced it. Yeah, I did the background, behind the scenes stuff. But before the show actually started, well, before the talking part of the show started, there was a music part of the show. And it happened every Friday. And live, I would DJ to start off that show. And it was gospel music. So ONJ was about gospel music, where it's been, where it is going, and things that affect the world of gospel music, which involves church. And many a nights, I would sit in that studio with Devon as we tweaked and tightened and adjusted and removed. And today, his dream, his passion has become PEMG TV. So when you see this right here, this Pulse E-Media Group logo, this Pulse E-Media Group flyer, this ad, whatever you want to call it, this here in this quarter of my screen, there's a reason for that. That's what you call support. You heard me mention TC and Flex FM. Some people would consider those to be competitors. I have no competitors here. I don't. If you want to compete with me, that's fine. I'm not competing with anybody other than myself. Because the challenge for me is to be better. Now, this here is a part of me becoming better. Pulse Media Group. Because Devon was there from day one. And I could tell the story of meeting Devon as a musician. And I'll tell you why that is important. Well, those of you who saw my post this Sunday would give you an indication why that is important. I met Devon when he was music director of the church that he was at the time. And the drums were sitting there, and he was playing the piano. And I asked if I could play the drums. And in this particular church, the drums was a new thing. And I started playing drums that morning. My older son, Nathaniel, those of you who are regular listeners and viewers of the night shift would remember Nathaniel from over the summer as he spoke about the whole problem with standardized testing, and he gave his views on it. That young man was 2. Well, actually, he hadn't even really turned 2 yet. He is now turning 14 in February. From then until now, Devon and I still play music together. So, and clearly, I still support what Pulse does, which used to be just the music links. Continuing on, I left Flex FM, and that happened at a time when I moved away. I moved away for a year. I was living in Chicago for a year. I didn't broadcast for a year. And prior to my return, at Flex FM, I had met Sir Rockwell, and Sir Rockwell left Flex FM and started rockthebox.net. And he said, prior to my return, I'm starting rockthebox.net. I have a slot for you. That is how the night shift ended up on rockthebox.net. And it was on rockthebox.net for 7 years. Now, moving forward, continuing to move forward. So, first half an hour has passed. My goodness, time flies. I can do this because it's my part, right? And I'm telling you these stories because they each play a part in the bubbling up in the pot. So I mentioned the fact that I've been playing music for a while. So the 12 years that I've been playing music with Devon is only a fraction of the time that I've been a musician. Pause for a moment. Let me give some credit where credit is due. I'd like to thank Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the show. Althea is a licensed massage therapist, and she comes to you. If you're in Broward County, North Miami-Dade, or South Palm Beach County, she'll come to you. She has oils. If you have your oils, she'll use that too. And just be prepared to just pass out. You'll be that relaxed when she's done. Give her a call, 954-655-9000, 954-655-9000, or email her at thealater@att.net. That's thealater@att.net. Okay. Now, so I did a stint at rockthebox.net, and that was a good time. There was a lot of development that happened in that time. I made a lot of new friends. I made a lot of new connections. I give credit where credit is due. I'm no longer on rockthebox.net. Things happen. So be it. I'm still here on broadcasting on Policy Media, which was where I started and never left. Okay. So, I mentioned the music part because recently, for those of you who didn't see the post, I was playing drums for a church. I had a contract with them. And at the end of the contract ended because of changes in my schedule. But recently, they had needed a drummer. Prior to me leaving this church, I had explained to the pastor what my rate was. Because here's how it is. And I don't know why churches tend to be like this. But I had to take the time to learn music. I was taught music from the age of 10. Much against my will, but I was taught. God bless the Salvation Army because I became a musician while going to church in the Salvation Army. Yeah, Marlon, you and I connected through the Rockbox link. I started learning music in the Salvation Army, and I had been playing in the Salvation Army. I played brass in the Salvation Army for about 30 years. 25. So, yeah, I'm not as young as I look. And I had played Salvation Army music with the best of them in at least 5 states in the US and 3 countries, including my home country, Jamaica, and here in the US. 3 countries. So I would say that is a bit of an accomplishment. Now, growing up in the Salvation Army playing music, you wouldn't see it as such because it's pretty much the norm. You'd kind of almost take it for granted. And I think that is what happens when musicians, whether you grew up in church or you went and learned how to play music or you were self-taught, whatever, when you go to a church to play and they think that you shouldn't be paid for your services. Now, this is a sore topic for many people. I get that. But when you spend time to become qualified in an area, don't you expect to be compensated for using that talent that you have developed to provide a service? Accountants study and expect to be paid when they do your taxes. Doctors practice constantly. That's why it's called a practice. They get paid when they provide their services. So why shouldn't a musician be paid when they go to a church to provide their services? Pay them. How it is that you expect tithing. They're going to give you 10% of what? If you don't give them something. You didn't think about that part, huh? Church leaders. Yeah, and I'll put it out there. I don't have anything against churches. I have something against being taken for granted. I have something against being taken advantage of. It said in the stew pot, it's like when you outgrow clothes, you have to get new ones in order to be presentable and not look like an adult in children clothing. Yeah, you grow. You change. So, those of you listening and wondering what the stew pot is, outside of it being my mind, it is the chat room. Others call it a chat room. We're fancy on the night shift on kevinstew.com. It's a stew pot. Come interact with us. So, church people, one, respect your musicians. Two, respect what they do and give them the credit. Give them the credit that they're due. Because they take time. They have taken time to be able to do what they do. I was taught to read music scores to conduct bands and choirs. I was taught music. And not only was I taught music, after I learned it and played music in different countries, I taught others how to play music. I taught people how to read music. And I did that free. Why? Because that was how I was brought up. I was given that gift. That gift was shared with me. I didn't just grow up knowing how to play. Well, I kind of did. But I had to learn how to play brass. I had to learn how to read music. And somebody took the time out to teach me how to do that. So when I came across people that needed that help, I was providing it. I used to leave work in Jamaica and go down to Raytown at the Salvation Army in Raytown, and I would work with the beginners there. Free. My time. I came to the US and I did the very same thing. It didn't change. But there comes a time when you need to pay your bills. So the gifts that you were given, the talents that you were given to use, you need to use them. So you're going to be given some talents and go sit down on it? No. It doesn't work that way. So I took my talents to this church, and when I spoke to the pastor and I told him about a little bit of my background, initially he didn't know this. Prior to me leaving, like a few weeks, had to have been about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks before I left there. I shared that with him. And he had the audacity to say, when you come here, I don't get anything extra from you. I said, listen, first of all, and I told him about my background. I said, you want something more from me? That is called a consultation. You're not paying me for a consultation. You're paying me to come and play these drums. And you're not even paying me at the rate that I go for. You're paying me at a discounted rate. So when I went back for this one day and played, when he was going to give me half of what I told him that I charge, I took the position, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I won't let it bubble over too much. So I said, yes, that is crazy. And I put it out there. I put it out there to social media. And I put it out there with something else. This whole idea of me having something that, as a DJ, it is life. I'm a digital DJ, so I have my music digitally. I have my music on an external hard drive. So when I come across someone who's going to share music with me, I am excited. Because I don't have all the time to get all the music that I need. And when we are going to have an agreement for you to provide this gold in the DJ world, this precious thing. And I say to you, all right, may I have my tools back? It's not a loan. Yeah, you are providing a service to me as per our agreement. And I can't get a response. What? Why? For what? I don't get it. And that now comes back to the question that I was asking, am I expecting too much from people? Because I would expect that even if you don't want to give it to me, fine. Don't give it to me. But give me back my property. It's mine. Give me my property. Why are you not responding to me? Respond. I've offered suggestions. Use a third party. And when you use them, let them know that the product is there so that I can pick it up. My thing is there so I can pick it up. Drop it off in my mailbox. Tell me I can come and pick it up. Nothing, no response. That's disrespectful. On multiple occasions, you go ahead and you put it out there. Put yourself in that position. You create that position. All of those that are in the sound of my voice right now. Somebody has something that you ask them to modify for you. And you ask for that thing. And they ignore your requests. Disrespectful? Even a little bit? So, I had put that out there on social media. And I was even surprised at some of the responses I got. Didn't really expect that many responses. But I guess it struck a chord with many people because they could relate. Alright, so moving on a little bit. And we may bounce from here to there and elsewhere as we go along. And people like drama, and rather than approaching the topic or the issue head on, they go around in circles in order to avoid the real issue. Yeah, people will do that, and I don't get it. And one of the reasons I started doing Real Talk is my co-host at the time when I started at Flex FM for Real Talk is a very near and dear friend of mine. And we used to talk about how people interact with each other on a regular basis. In fact, she was the very first person to tell me that I was passive aggressive. And at the time, I didn't even know what that meant. And yeah, I will say it. She said I was passive aggressive, and I to this day I still believe that I am passive aggressive at times. And I do make an effort to not be. In fact, one of the efforts that I make is to be, as a friend of mine back when I was working at Mutual Life in Jamaica would say, "Wissywig, what you see is what you get." So it would be the pure, authentic me. And being your pure, authentic self is not easy. Because who others have known you to be may not be who you really are. Now, have I ever considered that there are others out there who are just jealous or envious of my gifts and talents? I never considered it because I grew up around people either just as gifted and talented or more gifted and talented than me. So I wouldn't expect to be jealous. Someone to be jealous of me, I should say. No, I didn't expect it. So, back to what I was saying about the authentic self. Earlier this year, I had to come to terms with being my authentic self. And I had to let those closest to me, I had to introduce those closest to me to my authentic self. And that introduced me to a world of the 4 agreements. purely by accident too. But at the same time, nothing really happens by accident. So here came the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your speech. Don't take anything personal. Be authentic. And always do your best. And that changed my life. Along with the 5th agreement. Be skeptical. And that helped. I shouldn't say it, well, it played a big role in changing my life. But what played a bigger role is recognizing that I had to be true. And with all the shows that I have done, all the real talk shows that I have done, they have in some way, shape, or form been a part of me. Because I wanted to know about some of these things. Whether it was something that was happening in my life, or something that I had a discussion with someone about. And so, I guess as a result of that, real talk has become what you see it and know it to be. Outside of being Marlon's favorite night shift show, it has become this area of self-actualization and awareness and development that somehow we know exist but never really pay attention to. So I had to go to a place where pain was prevalent, because I had to hurt those who were closest to me with the truth. And that may sound crazy, but when you're not perfect, you would understand. And I can tell you, I am by no stretch of the imagination perfect. If you don't believe me, ask those that are close to me. As a matter of fact, call this number right here that you see on this, right here. 954-655-9000. Call that number. Ask Althea. She knows. Althea is one of those who has also been there. And she has been there in ways I cannot describe. You can ask her. Is Kevin by any means perfect? You will, as long as I do this show, and as long as, well, pretty much as long as I do this show. Because I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, unless you stop doing this. But you will see Healing Heavenly Hands. And I will talk about it. And you will see me out at events. And you will see Althea beside me. As she has been for years. And those of you who are regular listeners to the night shift, okay, you've never heard me say it, but Althea, thank you. Because Althea was one of those that I had to hurt. One of those closest to me. In order for me to be true. You can't wait to hear what she has to say. You're calling her. No, call her. I hope you get her. She has a tendency of falling asleep by this time. But yeah, you talk about a real support system. This woman has always been in my corner. She has always been supportive. Thank you. You see, this is what happens. We develop these relationships, we form these relationships with people, and sometimes we don't know exactly where it is going to go. We don't know exactly how it is going to develop. And last week, that's pretty much the premise that I built last week's show on. When I created the post that I made last Sunday, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before that, about friends not being chosen, I'm sure it went over the heads of many people. But it's like this. When you meet someone for the first time, do you decide that this person is going to be your BFF, quote unquote? Or 10 years later, it just so happens that they have been the person that you go to for whatever, whenever. You don't plan these things. So you don't choose your friends. But you choose how you interact with your friends. And those are the things that will make or break a relationship. When you can't be true to you, you're not going to be true to those around you. When you discover that you need to be true to you, be prepared to accept the hurt that comes with, one, accepting that this is the real you, this is the true you, and two, what comes from sharing that new quote unquote new true you to those who have been around you for the longest. Because outside of lying to yourself, you've been lying to them. Or deceiving. Either or. So when you come out and you say X, Y, and Z, when you tell of who you are or who you've been, that changes things. And with that change comes a growing pain, which is the hurt. And you don't see it as a growing pain until you look back. And it's not to say that you're going to walk away from and change completely who you were. Yeah. You want to move away from that. You want to move on to this new thing. But you still need to show respect to who you were. This site right here, kevinstew.com, was a gift. It was a Christmas gift. Courtesy of Sir Rockwell, and Shari. It was a gift. Many people don't know it. I don't have a problem saying it. I give credit where credit is due. I said I was going to create a website. I already had a platform to host it. Which platform? Well, which hosting service? Paul C. Media. Yep. This website, kevinstew.com, is hosted by the same company that provides me with this right here, the ability to broadcast this video, Paul C. Media Group. The same entity that is now Paul C. Media that used to be the Music Links. They have been loyal to me and I have been loyal to them from back then till today and moving forward into the future. You see how things are connecting? I want you to understand, And It's not to say that we have perfect relationships. No. But we're perfectly fine with working through them. Now, it doesn't work all the time, and it's just how it will be. It's not going to be perfect all the time. It's not going to work out all the time. But it will work out. And it will work out the way it's supposed to work out. If there's one thing that I have learned doing this show, doing real talk, as I look at how we interact with each other, it's as much as you may try to control that interaction, there is a natural flow of things that you really have no control over. And the sooner you recognize that, the better off you'll be. I had started following the Ruiz family. And some of you may know who those people are. Don Miguel Ruiz Sr. and Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. and Don Jose Ruiz, authors, international authors. And when you talk about the 4 agreements, just about everybody, especially those in the psychology and sociology areas, would know of the 4 agreements. That's Don Miguel Sr. When I reached out to Don Miguel to be a guest on this show, I didn't expect a response. I desired one. But you know what? I shouldn't say that. I did expect a response. But it also happened at a time where I sent out other requests that I didn't get any response from. Now, the response that I had initially gotten wasn't a favorable one. I was told, Don Miguel doesn't really do interviews anymore, but his sons do. And Don Jose ended up being a guest on the night shift. And let me tell you how connections work. By way of those emails that went back and forth, to the point when Don Jose came on the show as a guest, it just gelled. So much so that moving forward, Don Jose's partner, Tammy Hart, would be a guest on the night shift. And Don Jose would be there in the background chiming in and sharing. That's a big deal. It really is. And I am grateful for that. Yeah, I have had some amazing guests over the years. And I look back at it and I'm like, whoa. And if I inspire you to go after what's important to you and never give up, even when the response is not favorable, great. Take from this, all this that is happening, what you can. If there's something negative, go ahead and say, you said this, you did this, you whatever, and it came across negatively. I'm fine. We can talk about it. Because really and truly, when you go to the kevinstew.com page, the site, one of the very first things you will see is have acceptance through enlightenment. That was something that I put together when I was doing a show on hate, because I had to change the mindset of hate. And I remember someone who was a very close friend of mine at the time saying to me, that's not gonna fly. And yes, they were a very close friend at the time. Not as close now. And she said to me, that's not gonna fly. But guess what? That's fine. It works for me. This here, the night shift, real talk, healthy love, community and finance, those work for me. Because I was driven to provide this service. Oh, I have to love you guys. Thank you for the reminder. It is time to change the sponsor for the next segment, and I want to recognize JTMC Enterprise. Thank you for sponsoring this segment of the show. JTMC Enterprise will take care of your entertainment needs, your tour management needs, your bookings, your promotions, your event management, your social media management. Just give them a call. Brand new numbers 954-300-2574. That's 954-300-2574. Tell them you heard about them right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. See? Right there. They're another one. JTMC does marketing and promotions. And I met Joanna Marie when the Juggling Volume 1 was being released. And it's my version, only I can do it. And it cannot be taught. Well, only I can do it the way I do. Thank you. Well, I'll say this. I wasn't really taught how to do this. Back when we were doing old school, new school joint on the music links, on DML TV, on the music links, yeah. One night Devon said to me, you know what, we're gonna switch roles. Except I will not be DJing, but I will be producing the show from back here, and you will be DJing on camera, and then you'll be presenting the show. And I was like, what? And I remembered being on camera and on mic that very first night, and I was as square and as uptight as they come. And Devon wouldn't stop laughing. And I don't remember if it was that we got off the air, we had closed out the show, or we took a break. I think we took a break. And Devon said to me, what are you doing? Just be you. And so all this that you're getting right now, you can pretty much blame Devon for it. So when you call Pulse Media Group, if you get to talk to Devon, which most of the time you will, when you talk to Devon, you can say, okay, this is your fault, and you can finish it whichever way you want, whether it be thank you or please don't ever do that again. Whichever way you want to do it, you do it. But you can kind of say that he's responsible. But I met Joanna Marie of JTMC when the Juggling Volume 1 was being put out. And I called her up, and that was another connection through rockthebox.net that I'm grateful for. I called her up one night, and it wasn't even a scheduled conversation on the show. And from that night till this day, this right here has been happening. I have been supporting JTMC, and JTMC has been supporting me. Some connections you cannot create, they happen. And when they happen organically, don't try to manipulate it. Let it be. Just be authentic in it. That's all you need to do. And that's all I suggest that you try to do. Joanna Marie and the JTMC crew has been awesome over the years. How long has it been, Marlon, since the launch of the juggling? 4 years? And we've only grown closer. And there are more things to come. So don't think that where it is now is where it stops. No, 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 no. I remember my show being blasted out on various platforms by JTMC. I didn't even know they were doing it until Joanna said to me, "How does this look?" And I saw a template that she had created. And she said, "Send me a bio." That kind of support. And I have no problem telling the story. And she is not one to brag, nor am I. Juggling was released in November 2017. There you go. So it's only, well, it's going on only 2 years? Seriously? More than 2017? Nah, man, has to be 2016. It can't be 2017. It feels like much longer. And we've done a whole lot more. But it could have been 2017. Marlon is the one that would know. He is a music entertainer. He's the one, the record keeper, the facts checker. You check Marlon. And if you're a regular listener, or if you check the archives, I have no problem speaking up Marlon. Marlon does a show. The launch was February 2018. Marlon does a show. Why am I going to fight down Marlon's show? No. Marlon does an excellent show. And you learn a lot from Marlon's show. And if you get the opportunity to sit down and talk with Marlon, you'll learn a lot from Marlon. Some connections, you just can't fight. Simple. Plain and simple. Now, so I came across JTMC with Joanna did a blast, my first blast. I was elated. And that would have been back in last year too, 2018. But again, it comes back to being true. It comes back to being humble also. Humble yourself. If you need some help somewhere, you ask for it. If you did something wrong, apologize for it. And, I remember doing a show on apologies. And the whole idea of apologies and forgiveness, we have it all twisted and wrong. Apologizing is something that happens when you value the relationship. Granted that the relationship is salvageable. And really and truly, any relationship is salvageable. It won't necessarily be what it was prior to whatever damage. But no relationship really has to be fired and burnt. You know what I mean? But sometimes you just have to walk away from them. You do. So when some relationships come and they're good and then they go, let them go. Take from it what you have learned and just grow. Apply the good things. Be aware of the not so good things. Because that's another thing too, when you're talking about things being bad. What is bad? But a matter of a perception at the time. Don't be quick to blame others for your mess ups. Yeah. Don't. You can blame yourself first. And let somebody else tell you, hey, listen, don't be so hard on yourself. But yeah, whichever way you work it out, accept yours. Accept the role that you played in the relationship being where it is. Because if the relationship is great, you're going to say, boy, let me pat myself on the back because I did this, this, and this in this relationship to make it what it is. So if the relationship goes south and it's not so great anymore, you should also be willing to pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, my contribution to this relationship being where it is now is this. It's good to remember that those relationships were not mistakes. They were life lessons that we learned. Yeah. They are. Good, bad, and indifferent. One of the most trying times in my life was earlier this year when I had to be aware of my authentic self. And notice I said this year, yes, 2019 was when I accepted my authentic self. Because I had to do that deep look into me. I did almost a year of going to a therapist. And it started off with wanting to know more about how my mind works, because I couldn't figure it out for myself. And that moved to wanting to know more about me and recognizing who I am and connecting with me. And I will tell anybody any day, all day, if you've never been to a therapist, your mental health needs to be priority. See a therapist. It's not like something is wrong with you. Because everything is right with you is one of the reasons you need to go see a therapist. Because everything is not right with everybody. There's nobody that everything is right with. So I did therapy for almost a year. And I learned a lot about me in that year, but not only about me, but how people really interact. And it is because of Real Talk why decided to actually go see a therapist, because I was more and more curious about how we relate to each other. And why not start with me? Why not? I have a very good friend that said, when she told me that when she was growing up, she and her sister and her mother would go to family therapy regularly. And I thought, oh my goodness, she's crazy. Now, the fact that I tell her to her face that she's crazy all the time, that's neither here nor there. The fact is, that's just our relationship, though. But put fun and joke aside, it's important. You're gonna go to the dentist at least once a year. You're gonna do a physical at least once a year. What happened to your mental? Why are you not getting that checked out at least once a year? If you don't know a therapist, go find one. There are a bunch of them out there. And don't just settle with the first one that you come across. Find the one that really works with you. Because it doesn't help to go talk to someone about what is going on with you emotionally and psychologically, and you cannot be comfortable doing it. When you found your primary care, you are comfortable. You became comfortable with that physician. So it's the same thing with having a psychologist. You need to become comfortable with them. You connect. You need to be able to share with them openly, because it's about your health. And just like how the doctor cannot heal you, but the doctor can suggest what you can do to remedy your situation. And when I say the doctor, I mean the primary care, the general practitioner. So when you go to a mental doctor, you have to be able to open up and feel comfortable doing it. So find the one that works with you, one that works with your personality type. Feel out a few. There's nothing wrong with looking about your mental health. In fact, I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. You have to look about your mental health, because we go through things all the time and we don't really realize how much it affects us on a psychological level. A few weeks ago, I did a show on a whole week on the effects of climate change. And that Healthy Love show and that Real Talk show talked about how storms can and natural events can affect us psychologically. PTSD is not just for those who went to war. PTSD is for that person that survived that wildfire, the person that went through that earthquake, the person that survived that hurricane. PTSD is the one that saw the tornado coming and didn't have anywhere to go, and then it went away. We all suffer from PTSD. Find someone and talk to. Here it is in the pot. I'm an advocate for mental health therapy. It has been a lifesaver for me on several occasions. I now equate my physical health with my mental health. Yeah, you have to. You have to. And if you're in a relationship, find a couples therapist too. Because no relationship is perfect. But you can be perfectly fine in your relationship. And sometimes, to find that happy medium, you have to be able to, well, not sometimes. In order to find that happy medium, take out the sometimes. You have to be true to one another. And you have to be able to communicate with one another. And you have to learn this. Because a lot of us are not taught how to do this. I have no problem saying I go to couples therapy too. I have no problem saying it. Why? Because it helps me to be a better partner. Being a better version of me only helps to benefit those who are around me. And I suggest each and every one of you listening to my voice right now adopt a similar philosophy. Being a better version of yourself is the only way to have a positive impact on those around you. Don't think that there's any situation that is too scary or crazy that you can't find a therapist to discuss it with. No, you shouldn't. And if you do, you're doing yourself a great disservice. So, in a few moments, I'm going to do musical therapy. And I will start off from now mentioning the sponsor for the next segment, GMAC Music Solutions. Now, GMAC, and you've heard me play GMAC's recording of Things You Say You Love. I met GMAC for the first time on the ball field. Devon, the same person we've been talking about from the beginning of the show with Pulse Media Group. After meeting in the church, playing music together, he took me to the ball field where he played ball, football, real football, what Americans call soccer. And I met Gary, GMAC. We met on the ball field, and we have been connected ever since. Not a relationship that I decided I was going to have. It just so happens that here it is. He is also a musician. And these days when I play events, even if you don't see the banner, and I have a GMAC Music Solutions banner that I would drape across my table. And proudly so, because I'm using GMAC equipment when I'm playing these events. Yeah, you see the connection? I wonder if you guys have been listening from the beginning of the show to really realize what is going on here. These relationships were not forced in any way, shape, or form. These are genuine connections that only remain because the individuals involved have been their authentic selves. We have been true to each other. When it comes to support, I'll tell you this. There are not many people that I will constantly support. I will give the majority of individuals some support at some point. But the ones that you see me constantly support, pay attention. I may not be broadcasting it But those people are and have been true and loyal. And I will continue to be true and loyal to those people. My 4 segment sponsors are very important to this happening. Those that you hear me mention constantly are important. When you go to my website and you see you see me have images and links, it's not by accident. You scroll down to the bottom of my page right now, you'll see the Foundation Radio Network. Clinton Lindsay had been carrying my show for the longest while. He hadn't been doing it recently because of equipment issues and connectivity issues. But guess what? I'm still grateful, and I leave it as such. One Harmony Radio, Paul C. Media Group, Melissa Jane, my sister from another mister. From she started doing her shows. And I met Melissa again. I met Melissa outside of this. You have Real Rockers, that's Marlon. You have WGLRO. And there you will also see GMAC. You see JTMC, you see Althea, their Healing Heavenly Hands, and you see TE Graphic Design. And you don't often hear me talk about TE Graphic Design, but it is there on the page for a reason. Taylor has been the older daughter that I never had. And I suspect she will continue to be. Right, Thea? You know, as long as I'm connected that way, she will continue to be. You want graphic design services? I don't know if you can get some time out of her. She's been very busy lately. But tonight's show has been a little bit of venting and a little bit of putting things into perspective. Why things happen the way they happen. And me keeping it real with you guys. Again, yeah, you said it. Humble beginnings. And I give credit where credit is due. I make mention of those who deserve it. For what they deserve it. And I keep my connections with those who let me put it this way. I'm not going to force a connection. If it happens, it happens. If it stays, it stays. If it goes, so be it. I'll take from it what it brought to me. And that's about all there is to it. You know, there are a few songs that I have to play for tonight's show. I was supposed to play some as I went along and not just talk and ramble and ramble and ramble. But I felt the need to do this particular real talk. And it came out of asking the question, am I being naive or do I expect too much? Here's the thing. Let me answer this question once and for all. My expectations are based on what I give. And I have given a lot over the years. So when I support you, I expect you to support me. Social media has become this monster that a lot of us are not really aware of. But it is one of those necessary evils. I use social media to promote this that you see right here, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. I don't live on social media. I very seldom post things personal. You want to know something about me personally? Contact me. Link me. Let's talk. Every now and then I put something out there. But understand this. I'm going to continue to do this. Not for anybody else. But for the mere fact that this is what I'm driven to do. This is my passion. This has become my passion. To share information, to present information in such a way that people can take something from it and run with it. To make a difference in their little section of the world. And so that we can connect to each other a little bit better. In an effort to make a positive difference. So when you see have acceptance through enlightenment, think about those words. And think long and hard about them. Because it takes a lot to do that. And as long as I can, I will. The night shift will continue. I put donate buttons on the site because, well, I need the support. I need the financial support. Because it's none of this can be done with water. And even if it could be done with water, you still have to pay for the water. I will go ahead and put this out there. I plan to take the night shift even further. Are you going to come with me? Are you one to wait to see where this is going to go and then you jump on board? These people that are in the stew pot right now, I know they're there for the ride with me. In fact, they're helping me along the way. Someone was saying, I admire the fact that you don't live your personal life on social media. And for those who do, don't expect others to do the same. Some of us have a private life for a reason. Yeah. It's not like I'm not drawn to do what others do on social media. Yeah, I am drawn to do it. I feel sometimes like I'm missing out by not posting this and posting that and posting the other thing. What? Listen. Why? And you see me looking away, it's because I'm setting up. I haven't changed my sponsor for this segment. I need to put up GMAC's logo. Here we go. GMAC information right there. And I'm going to put up musical therapy in just a moment. But I'm grateful for the support that I've been getting over the years. And understand this, it hasn't been easy. I work a 9 to 5. And in fact, my current 9 to 5, on a Monday, I leave work at 9 o'clock. And I come to do my show at 10 o'clock. So you figure out how the driving part go. You can figure out how it goes with the driving part. And I just got a message tugging at your heart. Um, listen, you you know the one who sent that message tugging at your heart right now. You know who you are, and you know where you sit in my heart. You hold a very special place. And again, I can't say it enough. These connections that we've had in our lives at various parts, they all serve a purpose. So whether you see them as good, bad, or indifferent, find the purpose that they served. Because really and truly, if you look back at it, what bad has happened to you? What bad thing has happened to you? And if you can find that bad thing and you don't see a good thing with it, something is wrong with how you're viewing things. Because whomever it was that coined the phrase that every dark cloud has a silver lining knew exactly what they were talking about. Everything that you see as negative has a positive to it. The only thing is where you place your focus. The person that said the glass is either half empty or half full left it up to the person who was perceiving the glass. It's up to you. How do you see it? Half empty, half full. Dark cloud, silver lining. So it starts to rain. Okay. Don't you need water to survive? So is it really a bad thing that it's raining? Okay, it might be raining long and hard and causing flooding. Well, in the Bible, there was this great flood. Was that the end of the world? We're here today, right? So if that Bible story is true, then there's a silver lining somewhere. For those who question the Bible, that was for you. For those who just ask general questions, that was also for you. For those who don't ask any questions and just take what they're told, that's definitely for you. We all have something to take from our interactions, from our conversations. Let that thing be a positive thing. And then go ahead and live your best life. Be true, especially to yourself. I often play that Jack Raddock's tune, True to Myself. And I would play it tonight. I don't know, I might still play it tonight. We have 19 minutes left. I don't even know what musical therapy is going to be. But for all those who I get to support, I thank you for the opportunity. Because you are doing something that I get to be a part of, which in and of itself is a reward. So if I get to support you in that, I thank you for doing what you're doing and allowing me to support you in it. Only thing I ask is that you return the favor. Once it is within your power to do so, I only ask you return the favor. And above all else, just be true.
Speak the truth.
This This is Jadon. New music from him. And it's called Truth.
The truth don't need no debate, no way. Why you a hype up yourself? How you know say a lie you a tell? The truth no call for no argument, no way. So why you a defend yourself when you know say a lie you a tell? You tell a lie till you confuse yourself. Run down money and you don't got no help. Put your heart where you can't reach it. You ready? I see people things. Tell me why you want. If it have a ulterior motive and it's no secret, me come here so fi speak it to everyone. Me come fi reveal it. No more, me now hold no secret. Tell you say the truth. Don't need no defense, no way. Why you a defend yourself when you know say a lie you a tell? The truth, no call for no argument, no way. So why you a hype up yourself when you know say a lie you a tell? Me did tell you, so every action I go bring up a reaction. Why you want to play the victim when you know how you do me wrong? You know it hurt me, 'cause you coulda killed me. Have you as a brother so close to me? You shoulda never be. Tell me why you want change me energy. Why you want to see the enemy? As long as you have life, you are gonna live to see the best of me. Tell us the truth. Don't need no defense, no way. Why you want to defend yourself when you know say a lie you want tell? The truth, no call for no argument, no way. So why you want hype up yourself when you know say a lie you want tell? You know say a lie you want tell. A some fire you want sell. Oh, oh, oh. The fire it a burn red, red. You know say a lie you want tell. A some fire you want sell. Hey, hey. Whoa, oh. Hey, hey. The truth don't need no defense, no way. Why you want to defend yourself when you know say a lie you want tell? The truth, no call for no argument, no way. So why you want to defend yourself when you know say a lie you
I want to make special mention and to remind you guys to catch Melissa Jane tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. on Melissa Jane. If you're listening in, are you back to doing melissajane.com? I honestly, because I've gotten into the habit of going to Facebook to catch the show again. Are you doing Melissa Jane? Because you see, that is part of the support that I talk about, and I must say at this moment I'm guilty of not following up on that. But Melissa Jane has a website also, and that's another way. For me, I do everything on my website. It's all about kevinstew.com. That is where I want you to go for the support. You want to watch one of my archive shows? Go to kevinstew.com and watch it. You want to contribute financially? Go to kevinstew.com and click on the donate button. Anything that I get as by way of that donate button comes back to making sure that I can do the show. Equipment, electricity bills, whatever. AC, internet, all these things are required. All of this, I do it out of my pocket. And if anybody that does a production can tell you that it is costly. Equipment is costly. Time in and of itself is costly. So, Give your support where you can. Melissa Jane is doing her show tomorrow, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. For sure, go to Melissa, look for MJ Media, like the page. Oh, that's something else. The amount of people that would send out these requests to like their page. Ask this question. How many of those people come back and like what you are doing? Because they're asking for likes for a reason. How many of those people actually come back to whatever you do and give their support? But they want you to support them. Think on those things. This is the real storm. That's the title of the track. Real life. Just so that you guys know, not because I haven't mentioned someone or a show on this platform doesn't mean that I don't support them. I hadn't mentioned G. Cole at all. Understand this. I still play G. Cole music. And I share Homegrown with G. Cole. And I'll tell each and every one of you, tune in to Homegrown with G. Cole anytime. In fact, go follow the page. Like it. Homegrown with G. Cole. Find Melissa Jane and like it. Watch out for Healing Heavenly Hands coming to social media. Find Real Rockers. Like it. Find Flex FM. Like it. Find Pulse Media. Find JTMC. One Harmony Radio. Rockthebox.net, WGLRO. Find all of them. Like them. Choice. But understand that for me, I will support those who support me. You don't even have to ask questions. You don't even have to go around the bush. You don't have to speculate anything. My support is up front. Up in the hills where her trees grow, yet a liquor journey. I fall in friend, eat my food and still in home. I go red when the fire gashing on me head. I live in bedroom and a bed lost over shadow. This is Novelty.
This is how I fight. This is how I fight. Flat footed on the ground, flat.
Track called Tough Like a Diamond.
Can't keep me down, no. Can't keep me down. Back broad, stand tall, flat footed on the ground. Tough like a diamond. You know I'm strong like titanium. Tough like a diamond. Knock me down, but I won't stay down. Tough like a diamond. Strong like titanium. Knock me down, I get back on my feet. I'm strong like titanium. Is that all you got? Take your best shot. Take your best shot. Yo, is that all you got? No surrender, no flag in my sky. You never see me cry. No, never see me cry. Tough like a diamond. You know I'm strong like titanium. Tough like a diamond. Knock me down, but I won't stay down. Tough like a diamond. Strong like titanium. Knock me down, I get back on my feet. I'm strong like titanium.
Just for some confirmation, you can catch Melissa Jane on melissajane.com. In fact, I suggest that you like the Melissa Jane page on social media,
Every time
but tune into the show on the website.
I won't surrender. I'm not a
Because guess what? It's a business.
flag in my sky.
And if you want Melissa Jane's business to grow, you support her at the place where she needs to support. Not on her web, not on her social media. Yeah, you can do that on a regular.
Keep me down, no.
Give your full support to the website.
Yeah, can't keep me down, no, can't keep me down. Tough like a diamond, strong like titanium. Knock me down, but I won't stay down. Tough like,
You're very welcome, 101.
strong like titanium. Tough like a diamond. Knock me down, but I won't stay down. Tough like a diamond. Strong like titanium.
Yeah, lady.
Hey, Benji.
I played this song last night and someone said, what?
Long time.
Benji Myers, Joanna Marie. Oh, yeah.
Gonna sing a song, see.
Sing for me, man.
So I figured, let me do it again.
Watch this. If I can't
It's called Like to Have You.
see you every day and every night, this feeling I can't find. Day after day, I keep searching for a love that's right. Even when you're out of sight, I've been waiting patiently for someone like you. What am I gonna do without you? There you are. Come right here. Come let me show you, baby, how much I really care. I'd like to have you. I'd like to hold you.
This is how I bounce on out of here tonight. Thank you each and everyone for tuning in. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, with you. Right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 till midnight on kevinstew.com. I encourage you to look out for your neighbor. And your neighbor is not just the person that lives next door to you in the development that you live in. No. But your neighbor is a person that you pass on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive. So do something good for somebody's sake. You never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. And in the midst of it all, be good. But if you can't be good, go ahead and be good at it. I'll catch you all again on Monday. More community and finance, eh? Alright, I can squeeze in a piece of one more. Do I have time? No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I'd like to have you. I'd like to hold you. Really turn me on.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. I'm out of here.
Really turn me on. I'd like to have you.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.